it's great to get a few minutes with Kapilan, who is an associate mechanical engineer at Schlumberger. Kapilan, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Raj. It's nice to be here and help people figure out their career. Um, yeah,
Awesome. Let's start with a quick introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah. My name is Kapil, and I'm from the southern part of India. I'm like from Tamil Nadu, from a place called Trichy. Um, Growing up, I was studying for IIT, JE, like many of us in India, and a lot of my friends went to IITs and NITs. But unfortunately, I did not do so well because of personal reasons, and I wanted to explore my options, and whereby I came across this program at Manipal Institute of Technology called ICAS, where they do 2 years in India, and then you transfer all your credits to foreign institutions all over the world. So I did my first, freshman and sophomore year in India, and then I transferred my credits to the University of Illinois at Urbana Champaign, wherein I did 5 more semesters. Some of my credits didn't get transferred, so I had to do one more semester extra. But I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from uh, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I've been working from Schlumberger. I graduated in December of 2018, so I joined Schlumberger in February of 2019, and I've been working for Schlumberger ever since.
Got it. When did you start searching for your full-time job opportunities in the US? Again, going back to when you're pursuing your undergrad from
Yeah,
UIUC. What was the timing like for searching for full-time job?
full-time jobs, I would say, since my graduation date was in December, I started at least a year early.
Okay.
So for me, fortunately, since I had only had like 5 years, 5 semesters in the US, I ended up getting an internship in my after my fourth semester. So that was in the summer of 2018. Pretty much like fall of 2017. I'm not sure if I'm getting the years right. I should, but fall of 2017, I started applying for both full-time and internships. So yeah, that's when I started applying for full-time positions. But of course, I started applying for internships right when I landed
Absolutely.
in the US.
Got it.
Yeah.
How did you initially approach your full-time job search? When you started almost a year before your graduation date,
Yeah.
what was your initial full-time job search approach like?
Yeah. Like I said, I was searching for internships and full-time positions, kind of hoping that my internships would lead to a full-time position as well. Uh, since I have only have 5 semesters, I started approaching every career fair and kind of like learning from every career fair that I can. So going in before my first semester in the US, I tried to do a research internship at NIT Trichy, and I highlighted that like big font in my resume, but most of the employers did not seem to care in the US, as considering that as a valid work experience. So uh, I tried to boost my resume from the things that I can control. Every career fair that I approached, I went in and talked to every employer, like kind of perfected my elevator pitch, and then go to employers and of course with like a junior level resume that you have from like most of it from India. Like if you go to employer like Apple, they're not gonna like take you in. No, 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 no chance. So, but what I did was like, okay, hey, I know, I don't have as good of a chance as some other people, but what can I do to improve my chances there? What kind of courses that I can take? What kind of other extracurricular activities that you wanted to see from me. So right, first semester, pretty much I was very much focused on studying, best get to best grades, and the employers will accept me. But that did not come into fruition. So I, from my second semester, I started involving myself in other extracurricular activities, such I was part of my honor society, and I got elected into their board memberships, and I started taking more responsibility there, and naturally that added more experience to my resume. That was a point which I can talk to with the employers, and being in the board, getting more involved with the activities within the it's called Pi Tau Sigma. Within Pi Tau Sigma, um, I got to experience, like, do more hands-on projects, since being a mechanical engineer and applying for design-based positions. Those always came in handy, and I also made sure that I love doing hands-on projects in classes, and I made sure I maximized the impacts that I could get from those projects. And I also really towards the end of my experience at UIUC, I really started using my career services to the fullest. They do wonderful events. uh, I would say the main thing one of the main things that I did was going to events, right? There are, every school has like some top employers, right? And for us, it was Caterpillar, John Deere, Cummins and Schlumberger and Apple, whoever, right? So those kind of companies have lots of events happening, many number of events happening throughout the school year. And more often than not, they will have the same type of recruiters coming to the campus for every event, and they stay on for a couple more days to interview people. So the more face time you get with these recruiters, the more interpersonal relationships that you develop. Of course, you have to be good at it. You have to be good at what you do, but these extra layers as an international student will help you get to where you want. So they have resume reviews. The employers will have resume reviews. Career services will have resume reviews, elevator pitch sessions, how to draft a career, cover letter, and everything. And I attend a lot of general meetings. I attended a lot of general meetings, and I got on newsletters of pretty much of like every department, like mechanical engineering department, electrical engineering department. So I got to know about different events that were happening, recruiter based events that were happening all around the campus, and I just showed up.
Got it. Looking back now, would you
Yeah.
have changed the approach you took for searching for full-time jobs?
um yeah, I would like, even though I would like to think I did a lot within my campus. I did not. I was a little bit of a cheapskate, not to go out of my campus, and I know there were a lot of other professional organizations. Like, I'm not. I kind of forget the name of the organizations, but there's like, professional organization for Asian Americans. There's professional organization for Hispanic Americans. Like, African American professional organizations. And the beautiful thing with that is you do not have to be like those, you do not have to be like a Hispanic American to be able to go to that conference. You just have to be associated with them in some form. You just have to register for them. And man, let me tell you, like some of the events some of my friends from other schools went to, they were having like booths, like, booths for, like, recruiting people, and like interview booths, like crazy. And I wish I had done that. Like, every year these kind of conferences happen, every, like, some major city. I think my year that it happened in Chicago, or like some other major city. I did not go there, but I wish I had. It would have expanded my options in terms of like the kind of offers that I had, and just expanded my horizon a little bit. But I would suggest to venture out, even though no matter how great your career services at your school is, venture out and seek other opportunities and like maximize these other professional conferences as well, for sure.
What did you do to get the interviews from the companies that you were applying for when it comes to full-time job opportunities?
Yeah. I just showed up. Like from my first semester at UAUC, I applied for some to Schlumberger, especially like I think 3 or 4 times, and I got rejected and rejected and rejected. And every time I go to the career fair, I just knew how to talk to the people, and what they actually are looking for, what type of skills they are looking for, and just making sure that you demonstrate that skills in the 2 or 3 minutes that you have with the recruiter, and you grab the attention, because they are looking at hundreds or hundreds of like resumes every day. They are at the career fair, and trust me, I've been on both sides. I've been a recruiter for my company, and I've also like recruited for the company. So just like trying to highlight, you might be super great technically, but if you cannot sell yourself to the company, your skills are like of no use. So I just made sure that I like attending many career fairs. I would like to think I got pretty good at like selling myself, and like if I go to Schlumberger, like what skills do I demonstrate, like kind of constantly iterating. If I go talk to Apple, what skills do I thinking on the go, what skills demonstrate there. So it's just like having if I go and talk to comments, like what skills do I demonstrate, so stuff like that. You just keep showing up, and and demonstrate, highlight what you like. People say that you have to have a resume for the kind of company you're applying for. If you cannot do that, at least highlight the relevant experience that you have in the 2 or 3 minutes you have with the recruiter. That will maximize the impact that you have and the chances that you have for an interview. And just show up. Like, it's a funny story. I don't want to take too much time, but the way I got my first internship was like I happened to show up for an information session that my internship employer had, and I happened to sit close to the recruiter, and they happened to have two of the people they were supposed to interview dropped out, and I happened to stand first in the line to put my name. And of course, like after that, I converted the interview to an offer. But it's just luck. But you can make luck work for you if you show up.
That
There's
is
always
such
luck involved.
that is such a great advice, and that's such a unique story of getting the internship. I'm pretty sure like a lot of people can learn from that very unique way that you got your internship.
Yeah, and yeah, just there's definitely luck involved. But when you show up as many times, it's just a game of numbers.
Yes. Looking back now, would you have done something different to get the interviews from the companies that you applied for?
Um, in my case, it was a little bit different because I only had like 5 semesters here, and I was in a different pool. If you're a master student, you will have like research experience to go off, or your full undergrad to go off. Or if you were like an undergrad student right from your first semester, it would have been a little bit different. But I would say, yeah, just engage with your engage with if you have any association with, like, okay, someone from your labs group is working in this company, you reach out to them and see what they can do for you. And, like, someone, maybe a professor, can introduce you to this person from your lab group. And similarly, if you're associated with any professional organization in your undergrad, see if someone had someone works there, and what they can do for you as well. So yeah, I'm not sure I like properly answered that question. I do not
Definitely
have
did. Yes. Like just doing those
experience.
things definitely increases your chances of getting the interviews. So if you could have gone back in time, you could have done those things. I mean, you
Yeah,
feel like you would have been in a better position to get more interviews.
I would have done more of it for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for the interviews that you got?
Yeah. So one of the things that I did was, like, after every interviews that I got, like right from my first semester in the US, like after I come back from the interview, even though I might have bombed the interview, I started writing down the questions that I had and the kind of answers that I gave to them. And like initially, it was like I couldn't think, off of my feet, and I did not have much relevant experience, but I got to know what kind of questions they asked. And you would be surprised how similar, the questions the recruiters ask. I would say just uh, every bullet point you put on your resume, do not do not fake it. Make sure you know what the full context of it. And you can't write, hey, I improved efficiency of this machine by 10%. But when the recruiter asks you that, how did you do it, you can't just say, hey, it was like 2 years ago, I forgot. No, that's like a red flag. It might say to them that you did not actually do the work. So I would say, like, refresh whatever is in your resume. And yeah, and like, have if you do not have like as much experience like interviewing um, with other companies, like, expand, first of all, expand your scope. You do not have to just stick with like the top companies. If you give like low rank companies like a shot, they'll give you an interview, but you will learn. Even though you might not take their offer, you might not even though they might not offer you a position, you can learn a lot from the interview process. So I would definitely do that. And have whatever you have written on your resume, and just have, like, the stress strain curve, like whatever the elastic model, if you are a mechanical engineer, like stuff, like basic stuff like that. What every point is, when does elastic, and when it is plastic deformation, and what is every other point in the curve, and stuff, like remembering this just basic stuff. And also making sure you can think on the feet, give examples, like, one of the common question is like, explain to me how you dealt with like a conflict. Make sure you can have an example for standard questions like that.
Yes.
And make sure you can articulate it properly. I'm sure it's like a very, you'll be sweating and whatnot, but make sure you can, like, you practice, record yourself like giving a mock interview. And like ask your friend to help out, like, giving a mock interview. Just do everything you can control. And just, yeah.
Gotcha. Looking back now, would you have done something different to prepare for the interviews that you got?
um yeah. One of the learnings was, like, even though, you know uh, you have your grades to show, your academic skills, like brushing up on like the basic theory behind those skills is very important. I think I bombed my Apple interview by not, I knew the concept, but I was just blanking a lot when I was thinking. So just making sure you are like, no, that's one of the things I learned, right? And that came in very handy when I went for my Schlumberger interview. Guess what? They asked one of the same questions, like the basic theory. So these kind of questions do repeat, and making sure that's one of the things I learned and I used it somewhere else. Uh, yeah, just when you show up, just make sure you're at your best.
Got it. Pivoting towards some company specific questions,
Yeah.
how did you come across your specific role of the mechanical engineer
Yeah.
at Schlumberger?
So I'm sure it's different at every company. But Schlumberger, what they do is they recruit people, and then they recruit people first, and then they place them in the positions later.
Okay.
So I did not. So what they do, at least for mechanical engineers, is like they recruit for like a research engineering, manufacturing, and science position, and you go through your process. You go through like your first initial interview, and then they have you in for like a field interview, and then if you have a master's, and uh, if they think you're a good candidate for like a field engineering questions, they will have one other interview step. But yeah, so I was just picked. So they recruit people first, and then they place you in a pool, and within the company, wherever there's a need for people, the managers would just review a profile, and then, hey, I like this guy, I'm going to take him in my team.
Ah, okay. Okay. So, how did you actually get to know about Schlumberger, I guess? Or I guess just the role. You mentioned that the roles are not concrete and defined at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
but how did you become aware of a particular role in Schlumberger?
So yeah, I would, for someone with a bachelor's, with the mechanical engineering role, I was pretty sure I would be in product design,
Okay.
right? Even though that might be in a different team, the teams might, right now I'm like designing drill bits, right? Some, you know I might have been placed into a different team where they design ESP, electrical submersible pumps, or like different motors. So I knew like it would be related to product design,
Mhm.
but I did not know which team I would be a part of, so that was fine with me.
Got it. How did you get the interview with Schlumberger?
Yeah, I actually, at that point, I had one of my friends who was working for Schlumberger. So I got in touch with him, and before the career fair, I got in touch with him and say, hey, I really love the company, and I like the breadth of experience that the company has to offer, and I think I can contribute to the company. So I asked him what kind of skills should I demonstrate, and um, at that point, for my final career fair, I had shown up for Sambhaji's career fair pretty much like 4 or 5 times, and at that particular career fair, I showed up every single day. They were on campus for like 3 days, I guess, one for the information session and two career fair days. And I showed up like every single day, made sure that I showed my face, even though I know they have only like a one system because I've recruited, and it's how the first recruiter like values you, evaluates you. So, but still, I just made sure that I showed up and highlighted, like, I got 2 minutes, so I just highlighted my relevant experience. Like I had many project hands-on design process, wherein I went through, different iterations of like designs, which is something I do in my job every day. You use like, scientific methods to, you know design and see what works and what doesn't work, and go on. So that was one of the relevant skills I demonstrated, and luckily I got an interview.
Okay. So, was it like an on the spot interview that you got, or you
So
were invited back
yeah,
to an email or something?
yeah. So they do the initial screening on the career fair day, and then they call you. They stay in the campus for like 1 or 2 more days, and then they call you for a personal interview, one-on-one interview, and that is mostly behavioral interviews with a little bit of like the project stuff that you do. Once you are once you perform satisfactorily in the behavioral interviews, so this would be pretty immediate, right? You go to a career fair, either that day or the next day. You'll find out if you have a shot at the behavioral interview, and once the behavioral interview is over, within a week or two, you will know. Believe it's week or two, or maybe like 2 to 4 weeks. You will know if you have a shot in the on the field interview. So the field interview, you get interviewed by three different persons or four different people, I guess, and then there is a presentation that you have to do for 7 minutes about the projects that you did, and people will ask you questions about the projects, the presentation that you did, and depending on how you performed on the presentation and the different interviews that you had, 3 or 4 interviews, you will hear back if you will get an offer, or if they decided to move some of the direction within, I believe, 1 or 2 weeks. So the whole process for a full time would just be like anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks.
Got it. So you got your interview from Schlumberger uh, during the career fair itself,
Yeah.
and then they called you saying that, hey, you met us during the career fair, and then we would love to offer you an on-campus interview.
Yeah.
So within the remaining 2 days, you had your in-person behavioral interview
Yeah.
one-on-one, and then you cleared that, and then in a few weeks you were called for an on-site field interview, and
Yeah.
then from there on you had your presentation. You gave the presentation, and you had all those other interviews, and from there on you eventually got the offer. So you kind of answered the question I was about to ask. What was the interview process like?
Yeah.
So you just answered that question.
Yeah.
And how long after the last interview round? I believe it would be the presentation interview round would be the last
Yeah.
one. How long
Yeah.
after that last interview round did you get the full-time offer?
Yeah, it was like 1 to 2 weeks,
One to
pretty
two
much.
weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Any last piece of advice for any international student who might be seeking a full-time opportunity in the US?
Yeah, definitely. I just like show up. It's ultimately a numbers game, and even though there's a little bit of luck involved, and just control the things that you can control. Like, you can't control where you are born, and you can't control the immigration policies. That's pretty much out of your control, but you can control what you get involved with, what type of activities you get involved with, what type of courses that you take, and how you perform in the interviews, and how many events you decide to show up at. So just control all those things. And at the same time, one of the regrets that I have is like not enjoying college as much because of the short period I had. But take time to enjoy. You'll get a job. You'll do good at school, but take time to enjoy. Like, go out, go out. And have fun, make friends, make memories. But at the same time, put in the work. Don't get burnt out.
Got it. Kaplan, thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And yeah, if anyone has any questions or any guidance, career guidance, so feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I would be more than happy to help. And just make sure you add a note on how you got to know, so that I know how to help you, or like, to help you.
Awesome.